So we have looked at and reviewed how to solve one-step equations. Today we're going to review how to solve two-step equations. These are what you're probably most familiar with, and this will come back to you pretty quickly, okay? A two-step equation has a multiplication or division part. There's a multiplication, there's one that has division, and it has an addition or subtraction part. There are two parts that we have to take care of, and it matters what order you go in. So here are the two steps. We are going to undo the addition and subtraction parts first. We're going to use our inverse operations and undo addition or subtraction first, and then we're going to undo, using inverse operations, the multiplication and division second. That's important. You have to undo the addition and subtraction first. You have to undo the multiplication or division second. Basically, you reverse the order of operations here. All right, so let's look at our first equation. We have 5y plus 1 equals 26. Look at your 5y. Remember, our goal is to isolate y. We're trying to get y all by itself. So we're going to save it to the very end. We're going to undo this plus 21. What's the inverse operation to addition? Subtraction. So we're going to subtract 1. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. We bring the 5y down. Plus 1 minus 1 is 0, but we don't write it. And 26 minus 1 is 25. Now we're left with a very familiar looking one-step equation. This is 5 times y equals 25. Our inverse operation is division. So we're going to divide both sides of the equation by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1y is y. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So y equals 5. Now this is, again, an equation. We can check this. If we were to take 5, substitute it back here. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 1. Guess what? 26. Okay? Let's move down to number 2. This one's backwards. Sometimes this bothers people. That's okay. Just remember to find your variable and start there. So I've got negative 4 equals 1/3 z plus 2. So here's my variable. I'm going to undo this addition first. This is the side I care about because this is where my variable is. So I've got to undo this plus 2. My inverse operation to addition is subtraction. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides of the equal sign. I look, negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. I'm going to bring down my 1/3 z. Plus 2 minus 2 is 0. Now, this is one that sometimes we get a little scared, but it's not a big deal. This is a fraction in front of the variable. Remember yesterday we talked about when we have a fraction in front of the variable, we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3 over 1. We flip it. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 over 1. My 3's cancel. I'm left with 1z, or just z. Here, my denominators are both 1, so I don't have to worry about that. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. So z equals negative 18. Now, look at number 3. 8 minus 3x equals 14. This one sometimes throws people off because the variable's in the center, but that's okay. We look over here. I know I've got to isolate x, so I'm going to save this to the very end. I need to move the 8 first. This is my multiplication, negative 3x. I need to get rid of this positive 8. How do I get rid of a positive 8 or undo a positive 8? I'm going to subtract 8. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. 8 minus 8 is 0. Bring down my negative 3x. 14 minus 8 is 6. Now I have negative 3 times x. That's multiplication. My inverse operation is division. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Notice when we do multiplication and division, we don't change the sign. That's important. We need this to be positive, so a negative over a negative would be a positive. That becomes a positive 1x, which is 1, and 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. Be very careful. Watch your signs. One more. This one is x divided by 3 minus 7 equals negative 5. So I find my variable, it's right here. I want to undo the subtraction. It's minus 7. What's the inverse operation to subtraction? Addition. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Bring down my x divided by 3. Minus 7 plus 7 is 0. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2. Now, find your variable. This is x divided by 3. The inverse operation to division is multiplication. I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. 3 over 3 is 1. And I get x equals 2 times 3, or 6. I could check this. I could check them all. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 minus 7 is negative 5. Here are 3 for you to try on your own. I want you to pause the video. I want you to try to work all 3 problems. When you get done, turn the video back on and check your work. How'd you do? I got, on the first one, b equals 5. I think that one was pretty straightforward. Number 2, I got h equals negative 20. Make sure you watch your signs. 8 minus 12 is negative 4. And negative 4 times 5 would be a negative 20. And number 3, this is one that's sort of backwards. I got y equals 1. What I want you to pay attention to, sometimes this minus sign confuses people. This minus sign goes with the 2. The 11 is a positive 11, so make sure you subtracted 11 from both sides. You ended up with a negative 2 here. Then you divided by a negative 2, which gives you a positive 1. If you have any questions on any of these, ask for help. Let's look over it before you go on to the next thing.